Greetings, Manchester City supporter. Today we bring you all the latest updates on the club and the moves that could completely reshape the squad for the next season. But before we dive into the details, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any City news. Manchester City could undergo a major squad overhaul ahead of next season. After a busy transfer window, the club made significant investments, spending over 150 million to strengthen the team. Among the new signings are Omar Marmish and Nico Gonzalez, who joined V. and Abdar Kusanov as the latest additions to Pep Guardiola's squad. Despite these reinforcements, the team has struggled, suffering 4 defeats in their last 6 matches across all competitions since the transfer window closed. With this underwhelming performance, the board believes further changes are needed and is already planning a major overhaul for the summer. Recent reports indicate that Manchester City has informed several key players that they are free to seek new clubs. Among the names mentioned are Jack Grealish, Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, John Stones, Mateo Kovacic, Ilkay Gundogan, and Ederson. According to sports journalist Sasha Taval, Guardiola believes these players have already reached their peak and will not be able to regain the level of performance they displayed in previous seasons. As a result, the agents of these players have already been contacted to explore possible destinations, ensuring the club has enough time to find suitable replacements. Sporting director Hugo V has begun scouting potential signings to rebuild the squad and ensure City remains competitive. Among the targets being considered by Manchester City are Andrea Cambiaso, ASM Diamond, Samuel Rhee, and Florian Wirtz. Additionally, Bruno Guimaraes from Newcastle has also emerged on the club's radar. Even with the possibility of losing some of their most renowned players, City remains one of the richest clubs in the world. Selling these players would create financial space to invest in new talents and refresh the squad with a more modern and competitive approach. With attractive contracts and a solid sporting project, Manchester City should not face difficulties in attracting top-level players to the Etihad Stadium. The summer transfer window promises to be one of the most crucial in the club's recent history. The future of Kevin De Bruyne at the club has also been a major topic of discussion among fans and pundits. At 33 years old, the Belgian midfielder has struggled to maintain consistency throughout the season. His performance against Liverpool raised concerns about his ability to compete at the highest level. Former player and pundit Gary Lineker stated that De Bruyne no longer has the same legs as before, pointing to the player's physical decline. Frequent injuries in recent years have affected his ability to maintain the intensity that once made him one of the best midfielders in the world. This dip in performance raises questions about his future at Manchester City. De Bruyne's contract expires next summer, and speculation suggests this might be the right time for the club to seek a midfield renewal. Florian Wirtz has been identified as a potential successor to the Belgian, and if he is signed, De Bruyne could take on a mentoring role for City's next generation of midfielders. However, sources indicate that De Bruyne wishes to remain at the club for at least one more season. He is even reportedly willing to accept a reduced role in the squad, something he has already experienced recently due to Guardiola's squad rotation. Many fans would love to see him stay, considering his legendary status at the club. The situation of De Bruyne reflects a greater dilemma faced by Manchester City: the need for renewal versus the experience and legacy of players who have helped build one of the club's most successful eras. This balance between past and future has been one of Guardiola's challenges in recent years, especially as age starts to take its toll on some of his key players. The Spanish manager has always stood out for knowing the right moment to make changes, whether by adjusting the style of play or reshaping the squad. This was the case with players like David Silva, Vincent Kompany, and Sergio Aguero, who left the club at strategic moments to avoid a decline in overall performance. The question now is whether he will adopt the same approach with names like De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, and Ederson, who are pillars of the team but may be approaching the end of their cycles at the club. Beyond De Bruyne, another player at the center of speculation is Jack Grealish. Signed as the most expensive transfer in the club's history, Grealish has never fully justified the significant investment made in his acquisition. Despite moments of brilliance, His inconsistency and difficulty adapting to Guardiola's system have raised doubts about his future. If City decide to sell him, the money raised could be reinvested in players more aligned with the manager's long-term vision. The same can be said about Bernardo Silva, who has been a target for clubs like Barcelona and Paris Saint-Germain for years. The Portuguese midfielder has expressed interest in seeking new challenges in European football, and his departure, though difficult for the fans, could create space for a new midfielder with different attributes. In defense, John Stones has also been mentioned as a potential departure. The English centre-back, when fit, is a crucial part of Guardiola's system, but his frequent injuries have made consistency a challenge. With the need to maintain a solid and reliable defense, City may look for new options in the market to strengthen their backline. Meanwhile, in goal, Ederson remains one of the best goalkeepers in the world, but his position is not entirely secure. Manchester City have been exploring the market for alternatives, and if they receive an attractive offer, they may consider a change in goal. The upcoming transfer window is set to be one of the busiest in recent years at the Etihad Stadium. The club is already monitoring several players to strengthen the squad and ensure Guardiola has a refreshed and competitive team for next season. Florian Wirtz, previously mentioned, remains one of the primary targets, but there are other names on City's list as well. Among them, Bruno Guimaraes of Newcastle stands out as an ideal addition to reinforce the midfield. The Brazilian combines technical quality, intensity, and vision, attributes that fit well into Guardiola's style. In addition to him, Andrea Cambiasso and Samuel Rhee are other players who could be considered to bolster the squad. The big question is how Manchester City will manage this transition without losing competitiveness. In recent years, the club has established itself as one of the biggest forces in world football, and any drastic change could significantly impact the team's performance. Now let's talk about another topic that has sparked discussions among Manchester City fans: the future of Pep Guardiola at the club. Despite signing a contract extension until 2027, doubts have recently emerged about his continuity. The team's unstable form and the challenges faced this season have raised questions about his motivation to stay in the project. The Spanish manager is known for his intensity and relentless pursuit of improvement. He has stated on several occasions that he does not like to remain at a single club for too long and has previously left Barcelona and Bayern Munich at the peak of his work. However, Guardiola also has a strong bond with Manchester City. Under his leadership, the club has experienced its most successful period, winning multiple Premier League titles and, more recently, the long-awaited Champions League. His influence on the project extends beyond the pitch, as he plays an active role in squad building and the club's footballing philosophy. After the defeat to Liverpool, former player and pundit Gary Neville stated that despite the current issues, Guardiola is still the right man to lead City. According to him, the manager has earned enough credit to oversee the team's rebuild and overcome this turbulent phase. However, there are reports that clubs such as Barcelona and Paris Saint-Germain are monitoring Guardiola's situation in case he decides to leave City before the end of his contract. Even so, sources close to the manager indicate that he is committed to the project and intends to stay to oversee the squad's renewal. Another factor that could influence City's future is the case involving financial fair play, FFP. The club has been accused of breaching more than 100 Premier League regulations between 2009 and 2018. If found guilty, Manchester City could face severe penalties, ranging from fines and transfer restrictions to points deductions, or, in the most extreme scenario, relegation. Journalist David Ornstein recently reported that a verdict on this case could be announced in the coming months. According to him, the expectation is that the decision will be revealed between March and April, but appeals could prolong the process. Despite the uncertainties, Manchester City continue to operate as usual and remain active in the transfer market. The club maintains its stance that it has committed no wrongdoing and is confident that it will be cleared of the accusations. Regardless of the outcome, this case could have a major impact on the club's future. If City are punished, it could influence decisions regarding Guardiola's future and the transfer strategy for the coming years. Even with all these uncertainties surrounding Guardiola's future and the possible squad overhaul, one thing is certain: Manchester City cannot afford to waste time. The competition in the Premier League and across Europe is getting fiercer, and any hesitation could prove costly for the club. Arsenal, under Mikel Arteta's leadership, has shown impressive progress and has already established itself as one of the main contenders for the English title. Liverpool, despite Jurgen Klopp's imminent departure at the end of the season, remains a dangerous opponent and could undergo a renewal that makes them even stronger. Additionally, teams like Tottenham and Aston Villa have been surprising and are fighting for top positions in the league. Beyond England, giants such as Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, and Paris Saint-Germain continue to strengthen their squads and prepare to compete for the Champions League. If Manchester City wants to maintain its prominence on the European stage, making the right decisions in this transfer window will be crucial. The big question now is which players Guardiola will be able to bring in to reinforce the team. Among the speculated names, Florian Wirtz remains one of the favorites to replace Kevin De Bruyne in the future, should the Belgian indeed leave. The Bayer Leverkusen midfielder has been one of the standout players in German football and possesses qualities that could fit perfectly into City's system. Another name being linked as a potential signing is Bruno Guimaraes. The Brazilian has been one of Newcastle's key players and has already proven that he has the quality to play in a team competing for titles. His defensive ability, passing, and attacking contributions could be a great addition to City's midfield. There are also speculations about the possible arrival of Rafael Leão from AC Milan. The Portuguese forward is known for his speed, dribbling, and decision-making in the final third. With Jack Grealish potentially leaving, Leão could be an interesting option to revitalize Manchester City's attack. The defensive sector is also expected to undergo adjustments. Ruben Dias remains the backbone of the defense, but the inconsistency of John Stones and Manuel Akanji raises the need to seek new options. Rumors suggest that City are monitoring players like Joško Gvardiol and Jared Branthwaite from Everton, who has been one of the Premier League's most promising defenders. And, of course, the goalkeeper position could also see changes. While Ederson is still one of the best in the world in his role, there are indications that Guardiola is considering alternatives, especially if the Brazilian receives a tempting offer from clubs in Saudi Arabia or Europe. What is clear is that this transfer window will be crucial in shaping Manchester City's future for the coming years. If the club makes the right signings and manages the departures of some of its veteran players wisely, it could secure a new phase of success under Guardiola's leadership. Meanwhile, the team remains focused on the remainder of the season. The upcoming match against Tottenham will be a big test for City as they need a victory to stay in the race for the top positions in the Premier League. A defeat could further complicate the team's situation and increase the pressure on Guardiola and his players. Historically, Tottenham has been a tough opponent for Manchester City, especially when playing in London. In recent encounters between the teams, Spurs have secured important wins by exploiting counterattacks and the pace of their forwards. This time, Guardiola will need to find a solution to overcome this challenge and secure all 3 points. The expectation is that Haaland will once again be decisive. The Norwegian striker remains the team's main star and will play a fundamental role in this clash. His finishing ability and presence in the box could be the key to breaking down Tottenham's defense. Besides him, Phil Foden has been one of the most consistent players this season and could be the creative force City needs to unlock Tottenham's defense. The young Englishman has shown great development, and with some veterans potentially leaving, he could take on an even more central role in the team. Regardless of the result against Tottenham, one thing is clear: Manchester City is going through a transitional period. The next transfer window will determine the club's direction, and the decisions made in the coming months will be crucial in ensuring the team continues competing at the highest level. With Guardiola at the helm and a squad still packed with talent, City has everything it takes to remain at the top of European football. But to achieve that, careful planning, smart investments, and, above all, the courage to make difficult decisions will be essential. Now, I want to hear from you, City fans. What are your expectations for the upcoming transfer window? Which players would you like to see leave, and who should the club sign to strengthen the squad? Do you still believe Guardiola is the right manager to lead City into this new phase? Leave your thoughts in the comments and join the discussion. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel to stay updated with all the latest Manchester City news. A big hug and see you next time.